Welcome to SpectraCam, where we dive deep into the movies that shape our world. Today, we're tackling a film that, on the surface, is an absolute delight. The 1981 comedy, Paternity. Starring the legendary Burt Reynolds at the peak of his charm, this movie presents a premise that's both hilarious and heartwarming. Reynolds plays Buddy Evans, a successful Manhattan bachelor who decides, at 44, that he wants a child but not the complications of marriage. What follows is a bright, witty, and visually engaging quest as he interviews potential mothers in a series of comedic set pieces. The film is bathed in the warm glow of early 80s New York, with stylish cinematography that makes the city itself a character. It's a movie that promises laughs, romance, and a feel-good story about unconventional paths to fatherhood. The energy is infectious, the pacing is snappy, and Bert's charisma is off the charts. So grab your popcorn, because we're about to explore why Paternity is a cinematic treat that deserves your attention. But as always here at SpectraCam, there's more beneath the shiny surface.
Beneath the glossy veneer of comedy and charm, Paternity harbors a quiet, unsettling truth. Buddy Evans's quest isn't just a whimsical adventure. It's a profound act of existential avoidance. Here is a man so terrified of genuine human connection, so wounded by the potential for loss, that he reduces the sacred act of creating life to a clinical transaction. The interviews with potential mothers aren't romantic. They're dehumanizing audits. Each woman becomes a checklist of traits, her humanity secondary to her utility. This isn't a story about wanting a child. It's a story about a man trying to architect a relationship where he holds all the power, where he can love without being vulnerable, parent without partnership. The laughter the film elicits often masks a deep-seated melancholy, the tragedy of a man who views intimacy as a threat to be managed. The bright New York settings feel like a gilded cage, and Buddy's smile sometimes seems like a mask hiding a void. What does it say about us that we laughed along? The film's true subject might be the modern alienation that turns profound human desires into sterile projects, leaving us alone in crowded rooms, building families on foundations of fear.
Let's talk facts and figures, because Paternity is a success story. Directed by David Steinberg and written by Charlie Peters, this film is a masterclass in assembling top-tier talent. Burt Reynolds wasn't just a star, he was the box office king, bringing his signature smolder and comic timing to every scene. The supporting cast is brilliant. Beverly D'Angelo lights up the screen as the potential mother who challenges Buddy's entire plan, while Lauren Hutton, Paul Dooley, and Elizabeth Ashley add layers of humor and heart. Made on a solid budget for its time, the film was a commercial hit, resonating with audiences who loved its blend of romance and comedy. Critics praised Reynolds' performance, noting how he balanced arrogance with a growing vulnerability. The film's score by David Shire is catchy and evocative, perfectly underscoring the urban romance. It's a polished production from a major studio, showcasing what Hollywood does best, delivering star-powered entertainment with high production values. The costumes, the sets, the seamless editing, it all works to create a world that's attractive and engaging. Paternity stands as a testament to the power of a great star in a well-made film, proving that smart, adult-oriented comedy could draw crowds and critical acclaim in the early 80s.
The polished final product belies a more troubled genesis. Paternity entered production during a transitional, uncertain period for its star, Burt Reynolds. Fresh off a string of massive hits, he was also grappling with the immense pressure of maintaining his status as America's top box office draw. The industry was skeptical. A comedy about a man buying motherhood was risky, potentially off-putting. Reports from the set suggested a tense atmosphere, with clashes over the film's tone. Was this a broad comedy or a darker character study? This conflict seeped into the performances. Watch Reynolds closely. Beneath the practiced grin, there's a weariness, a hint of the personal toll his fame was taking. The director David Steinberg fought to balance studio demands for levity with the script's more melancholic undertones. The very premise, which audiences accepted as a fun fantasy, was a source of creative struggle, forcing the team to navigate a minefield of ethical and emotional questions. The bright lights of the set couldn't fully dispel the shadow of doubt. This film isn't just a product of joy. It's an artifact of compromise, born from the friction between commercial expectation and artistic unease, mirroring Buddy's own conflicted journey.
For pure, unadulterated cinematic energy, look no further than the montage sequence where Buddy conducts his interviews. This is filmmaking at its most vibrant and technically impressive, set to a peppy, synth-driven score. The scene is a rapid-fire parade of visual gags and character moments. The cinematography is dynamic, using quick cuts, playful framing, and a rainbow of 80s fashion to keep our eyes glued to the screen. We see Buddy in a series of perfectly composed shots, leaning against his sports car, smiling in sun-drenched parks, looking suave in upscale restaurants. Each potential mother is introduced with a flash of personality, a burst of color, and a clever visual punchline. The editing is rhythmic and precise, creating a sense of momentum and comedy that's utterly infectious. It's a scene that showcases the director's control over tone and pace, using the full toolkit of cinema to generate laughs and charm. The production design shines, from the trendy apartments to the bustling city backgrounds. This sequence isn't just funny, it's a masterclass in visual storytelling, using imagery, music, and editing to communicate Buddy's whirlwind, superficial search with exhilarating clarity and style. It's the moment the movie's premise truly comes to life with dazzling, positive energy.
The true emotional climax arrives not with a laugh, but with a quiet, devastating realization. It's the late-night scene where Buddy, alone in his impeccably decorated but sterile apartment, finally confronts the emptiness of his plan. The bright colors are gone, replaced by the cold blue light of a city night. The charismatic facade drops. Reynolds lets us see the raw fear and loneliness beneath. He's not a swashbuckling bachelor. He's a middle-aged man terrified of dying alone, trying to purchase a legacy to fill a void he doesn't understand. The tragedy here is philosophical. He seeks a child as an object, a solution to his existential problem, not as a person to love unconditionally. The scene is haunting in its stillness. The camera holds on his face, and we witness the grim epiphany that his entire quest is a profound failure of courage. He hasn't been seeking a family. He's been running from the vulnerability required to build one. The comedy has evaporated, leaving only the bleak truth of his self-imposed isolation. It's a moment of profound sorrow, revealing the narrative's heart not as a celebration of unconventional choices, but as a lament for a soul so damaged by modern life that he confuses transaction for connection.
Despite its complexities, Paternity leaves a legacy of genuine hope and inspiration. It ultimately argues that the human heart, even when misguided, can find its way to the right place. Buddy's journey, for all its flawed beginnings, leads him to a real connection with Maggie, played wonderfully by Beverly D'Angelo. The film shows that growth is possible, that rigid plans can give way to authentic love. Its cultural impact lies in its willingness to discuss fatherhood and family creation outside traditional norms. Opening conversations in the early 80s, it inspires by showing that it's never too late to change, to want more from life, and to build something meaningful. The final scenes, with their warmer light and genuine emotion, offer a cathartic release. Buddy learns that being a father isn't about control, but about commitment and heart. This message resonates deeply, encouraging audiences to pursue their desires for family and connection. However unconventional the path may be, the film's success proved that audiences were ready for stories about mature themes, paving the way for more nuanced comedies. Paternity endures as a bright, encouraging tale about finding family in unexpected ways, a testament to the enduring power of love and redemption.
The film's legacy is also one of quiet despair, a grim warning etched in celluloid. Paternity endures as a stark reflection of a societal failure, our increasing tendency to commodify human relationships. Buddy's initial approach, treating motherhood as a service and a child as a product, isn't just his character flaw. It's a logical endpoint of a culture obsessed with convenience, control, and transactional interactions. The movie serves as a prophecy of sorts, foreshadowing a world where dating apps algorithmically sort partners, and where existential anxieties are soothed by consumer choices rather than human bonds. The despair lies in the film's uncomfortable truth. Buddy's plan almost works. The system he navigates allows for it. His loneliness is a product of his environment, a world that prizes independence to the point of isolation. The happy ending feels, in this light, like a narrow escape from a much darker fate. The legacy of paternity is the chilling question it leaves us with. How many of us, in our own ways, are trying to engineer our lives to avoid the beautiful, terrifying risk of real human connection? It's a mirror showing our own potential for emotional bankruptcy.
So, what's the final verdict from the bright side? You absolutely must watch Paternity. It's a hilarious, stylish, and ultimately heartwarming film featuring one of cinema's greatest stars in top form. It's a masterclass in 80s comedy filmmaking with visuals that pop, jokes that land, and a story that will genuinely move you. Whether you're a Burt Reynolds completist, a fan of smart romantic comedies, or just someone who loves well-crafted movies, this is a gem waiting to be rediscovered. Experience the energy, the charm, and the triumphant journey for yourself. Dive into the SpectraCam community. If you enjoyed this deep dive, smash that like button. It really helps us out. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next cinematic exploration. We want to hear your thoughts. Did you find Buddy's journey inspiring? What's your favorite Burt Reynolds role? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. And remember, keep looking for the light in every frame. See you next time on SpectraCam.
In the final quiet, after the laughter fades and the credits roll, Paternity leaves us with a lingering, melancholic thought. Perhaps the film's deepest meaning is not about finding a family, but about recognizing the walls we build to avoid needing one. Buddy's sleek apartment, his meticulous plan, his charming detachment. They are all fortifications against the terrifying, beautiful chaos of loving and being loved in return. The child he seeks is not just a son or daughter, but an anchor against the void, a proof of existence that requires no mutual surrender. The film, in its essence, is a ghost story. The ghost is not of a person, but of a potential life. The life Buddy could have lived if he had dared to be vulnerable from the start. We leave him not with a celebration, but with a sigh for the years lost to fear and a silent question that hangs in the air of our own lives. What are we, right now, too afraid to feel?